Hello everyone, I'm actually in northern Alberta right now in a community called Lac La Biche. We're going to catch a helicopter at 8 a.m. tomorrow to go do some paleontology, so it should be a good time. I'll probably have pictures and stories and things like that if anything exciting goes down. In the meantime, I decided to spend my evening looking at 5 animals which game developers or sci-fi developers could use to sort of harvest ideas from to improve their craft. So first of all, I decided to use Onychophora here, and I apologize, by the way, for the PowerPoint. I'm completely lazy today, so don't worry about it. Anyway, so we've got Onychophora here. They haven't changed in about 500 million years. They're also known as the velvet worms. And as you can see, I'm going to use my little mouse pointer here. They basically do have a nasty looking mouth. They have a really actually cool body plan. They look vaguely insectoid. They're kind of, I guess, a intermediate between worms and insects, if you want to think of it that way. They're kind of the sister group to modern insects. The thing that makes them really cool, though, is that they spray out this goo, and when it comes in contact with moisture in the air, it actually becomes extremely sticky and expands. So it traps their prey, including things like very toxic spiders and things like that, and works as quite an interesting snaring method that could be better than some of the other things we see in science fiction. Next up we have Tardigrada, the water bears. As you can see, they're actually extremely small. That's 25 micrometers. What makes them really cool is they have basically 4 sets of 2 legs with these cool little claws and this little derpy looking face with this weird little mouth thing. But as far as science fiction is concerned, the thing that makes them sort of most interesting is that they do this behavior called encysting, which is where they basically form a cyst. And they've actually figured now that they can survive in a total vacuum, according to certain studies, as well as some pretty low temperatures. So between the two of those, that makes for a pretty good interstellar traveler. So it could be, perhaps a way in which a biological organism can move between planets or even between solar systems. I just wait for the day when maybe perhaps one day we find a tardigrade walking around on Mars, because they are extremely common on Earth. They pretty much inhabit anywhere there's a water film, or so basically any surface. You can just about find them in any garden. I guarantee you've eaten them at one point, and there's a pretty good chance that you've had one on you today, and you wouldn't know it though. So they're extremely common and quite adorable. For everyone who just had their brain melted by some invertebrate action, these are something a little bit more recognizable. These are the Raphidioptera, or snake flies. You can see they've got this sort of neck-like structure. This is actually not a true neck. I believe it's the posterior part of the head, or it might be the very front of the chest. I can't quite remember. It's been quite a few years. But anyway, they look really, really cool. Imagine these being like 20 feet tall and swooping down on some unsuspecting man with a gun. Next up we have Mecoptera, which is extremely cool looking. They're the scorpion flies. They have this really cool front end that makes them kind of look like the spies from Spy vs. Spy or something. They got this wicked looking tail here. Unfortunately, that's actually the male's intermittent organ, which in the insect world is known as the adiagus. So if anyone asks you what an insect penis is called, you can say with confidence the adiagus. Anyway, you can imagine with just a little bit of flair, this could be turned into a pretty nasty weapon on something that can fly around with a cool looking face. I really wish that they would take a little bit more inspiration from invertebrates. And so here's my last one. This is the Rotifera, and I'm not sure what the common name is for them. They're, again, really, really small. You can see 50 micrometers here. They basically can swim. They do use these cilia mounted on these circular organs called corona, and that pulls them through the water column as well as drives water into their mouth. They can also sort of root themselves onto various things, and they're common in pretty much any surface with water. In fact, they've been found to live inside the cells of plants, which is extremely cool. They have a really cool nomming organ here called the mastax, and they have everything that we're sort of familiar with: a stomach, anus, intestine, even, yes, they do have an anus, celebrated in several science fiction creations by Blizzard. and they can actually latch onto things here. So they're just a completely different way of looking at life, which is actually a pretty savage predator in its own scale. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully somebody in game development or movie development sees this and takes some pretty cool ideas.